A new Vitalik song just dropped, and guys, it is fire. We're going to listen to it later. And also, anti or pro bots, their impact cannot be denied. We're going to get into that as well. This is Around the Blockchain. Please hit that like button, and thank you for joining, everybody. We have 3 great guests on, and one, it's a blast from the past. Haven't had him on in a while. Looking forward to this episode. First, we're going to start with Tim Warren in the bottom left, holding down the green spot. Tim, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Holding down the basement for you too, DZ. Did you know that our building leaks, DZ? There's like puddles all down here.
Yes. 2 months before you worked here, anytime it rained, there was 17 buckets strewn about the floor. I'm exaggerating. It was only 12. Also on today, we have Lamar Wilson. Looking forward to possibly seeing you in person. Can you confirm you'll come by the studio?
Man, I'm trying to come by the studio. I definitely have to come see where, I don't know if we call it magic, but something happens.
Something's happening.
Something's happening over there, man. But I look forward to coming to see you guys.
A magic sauce, a secret sauce, a sauce of some kind, we don't know. But I do know who's always saucing it up. It is Crypto Crow. Crypto Crow, what do you know? Last time we're talking Cardano, are you ready to talk some bots and Vitalik? Or are they the same thing?
I love my bots. Let's go.
All right. Well, let's get into it. All right. Are bots bad? I'm asking you, chat. Yes or no? Are bots bad for the space here? Well, an arbitrage bot just did a $200 million flash loan. A flash loan is where you get your entire set of transactions all happening on one Ethereum block. Well, they did a $200 million flash loan. Guess what kind of profit this bot netted? $3.24. That is right. They literally put up $200 million to net $3 and less than a quarter there. Originally, guys, though, there was a larger gain. Originally, it was $33, but then after gas, ended up only securing about $3 at the time. The transaction, it was a pretty complicated smart contract. It pulled money from MakerDAO in the form of DAI stablecoin, and then it did a deposit on Aave. With that deposit, collateralized loan of wrapped ETH, then used that wrapped ETH, market bought an altcoin, then sold an altcoin, and then pulled everything out and reversed all the transactions there, secured all the funds back, all in one transaction. And hey, it netted him $3.25 there. Well, Crypto Crow, you're no stranger to bots. You've used bots in the past. In fact, I think you made content about bots. What are your bot thoughts?
Personally, I love trading bots, but they're not a set it and forget it. Like you're going to throw a frozen turkey into it and come back and it's just going to be ready to go. You've got to monitor them and you got to know how to use them. And they're all programmed differently. So, and some of the variables associated with like what exchange the bot is on, how the API functions, what indicators you're using. There's an endless array of settings and features and functions to pretty much every different bot. They all work differently. So you really have to, like, if you're going to get into bot trading, you really have to study it. You can't just, I'm going to buy this bot and throw some ETH into it and let it trade on its own. And I'm going to check back in a year and be rich. It just doesn't work that way. And they can be used for a lot of different things. High frequency trading has been around for all the billionaires for decades and decades. It's just now in crypto, we're discovering, oh my gosh, there are developers creating crypto trading bots now. And now anybody can get their hands on something, but not everybody knows how to use them properly. So yeah, I used to do a lot of bot trading content.
All right. Well, Lamar, what are your thoughts? I know Crypto Crow, he was a fan, maybe the arbitrage is gone, maybe there's not as much opportunity, but do you also think they're, a fun exercise and maybe a good way to peel off some extra Satoshis?
Listen, man, every single time I've seen anybody with a bot, it doesn't work. I told a guy I'll give him $1,000 to let me see if the bot works. And he went into his software that was doing it in the sandbox and it made money. Then he put it on the real chain and it was over with. So at the end of the day, I think the problem is it's too much information. We don't have asymmetric information anymore. It's very difficult to find arbitrage because everybody has the same amount of information. So if everyone has the same information, that means everybody potentially has the same bots. And if you hit the old version of a bot, then somebody else is beating you. So if you're not a programmer or somebody that can go in and change the bot yourself, you might as well hang it up. And the other side of that is if you're doing trades like on Ethereum, you have no clue when the actual gas fees are going to go up. And so just like that transaction that just happened, when the gas fees go up and you have no clue about it, you lose money. And so it's ridiculous, man. I feel like, I mean, you can do what you want. You know how I am. Y'all have had me on here before. Do what you want. If you want to play around with bots, but I'm just going to let you know at the end of the day, bots probably not going to work for you too well.
All right. Nice little tempered advice there. A lot of fans of your hat in the chat, by the way. All right. Well, Tim, I was looking into front running rules. Well, the SEC has banned front running since 1934. Since front running, technically not allowed, technically illegal here, do you think some of these bot operators are going to face any legal consequences since they front run almost every transaction on the EVM?
I mean, a simple answer, DZ, would be if it's illegal with what they did and then they're caught doing it, they're going to get in trouble. The question is, should they be in trouble? I actually had to do a little bit of research on this one. You're being proud of me here, DZ. I did research when I saw these topics, had to look some stuff up because my understanding of front running had to do with more of insider trading. It has a lot more to do, I guess, on when brokers understand something's about to happen and they move, which is very understandable why that is illegal. When it comes to the front running we're talking about here, though, with bots and arbitrage, the concept of knowing, hey, I could let's use a coin. Let's make up a coin called the Tim coin. And Tim coin is trading at $1.25 on Binance. But I know that Tim coin is trading at $1.15 over on Coinbase. Well, what we're talking about here is taking and going over to Coinbase and buying it there and then going and selling it over on Binance for $1.20 because you can make money over there. That's a genius idea. Don't we do that with our kids when we tell them to go out and make a lemonade stand? We go to the store and we buy a 25-cent massive 5-gallon thing of lemonade powder, and then they make it and they sell it for freaking $5 a cup, and they make a lot of money. That's called capitalism. That's called selling. So it's illegal at the moment. It's very much frowned upon. So if they're breaking a law that is on the books, they're going to get caught and they're going to get in trouble. The question, though, is should it be illegal? I don't necessarily think so. I think that this form of front running, if you're smart enough to do the math and do the numbers and put the work in to buy it on cheap exchanges and sell it on more expensive ones, I think that has more to do with market makers making sure they're more on the same page when it comes to prices. Why are you hating the player who is a brilliant business person knowing what's happened? They're not cheating. They're not making up. They're not stealing money from anybody. They're wise people who are seeing discrepancies and they're taking advantage of it. That is capitalism. That is what made us into what we are as an economy. So yeah, that's my research, DZ.
All right. Well, Lamar, Crow, go ahead. Yeah. You got a response?
I'm hearing a lot of different things. I see Lamar already shaking his head. So a couple of quick points that I want to refine. What Tim was just describing is ultimately arbitrage, right? It's when there's a discrepancy between two exchanges. The problem with retail arbitrage is that you pretty much have to have sizable sums on every exchange. It's not like because by the time there's an arbitrage opportunity, by the time you've taken your crypto from one exchange, sent it to the other exchange to sell it or buy at the higher or lower price, whatever that is, the opportunity is generally already gone. So in order to do proper arbitrage, you have to have, like $100,000 on this exchange, $100,000 on that exchange, so forth and so on. And then you're trading it that way. So you're not transferring anything from one exchange to another. You're just taking advantage of the differences in price. Then once you get them, you can transfer the crypto, but it has to happen very quick, which is why automated high frequency trading helps with that. The other thing is, Lamar was talking about trading fees, right? Or gas fees. Generally, when you're bot trading on an exchange, you're not actually exchanging crypto. It's all on paper until it's settled. So you're not really taking on, like if Ethereum, a transaction is 100 gwei or whatever it is, you're not really paying that the majority of the time on most exchanges every time there's a transaction because it's not being sent anywhere. It's basically recorded on an internal ledger until it's settled, which is why often if you're making a withdrawal, it takes a few days or a few hours or whatever because they're basically pulling a lot of that, making sure it's available. They're calculating it all, and then those things are settled. But ultimately, you're not paying that as a fee. Typically, a bot trade is most bots are trying to capture a 1% increase in price to conclude the trade because you're trying to make as many of these 1% gains as possible over time. You would never really be able to do that, even with proper DCA tiers, if you were actually paying gwei fees on every transaction.
You say 1%. Someone, check me on the math here. 200 million into $3, probably looking at 0.000000001%. And for them, evidently, it was worth it. Well, Lamar, we were talking about this before the show, and you brought up a really good point I just want to share before we switch topics here, and that was taxes. Some people might not know about tax implications with some of this. Could you just further expand on that?
Yeah, man. So the other issue is a lot of the return or a lot of the gain that you get is going to be taxed. You're probably using some exchange that you KYC'd into, and they're going to be presenting that information to the IRS at the end of the year, and it's going to show all of that profit that you have made. Right? Instead of you buying an asset and holding on to it and not churning it, as we would call it, and not churning it, where in the United States of America, I don't know where else other people are, but the United States of America, every time you get a gain, you're supposed to pay the taxes on that gain because of the way the IRS freaking, even when you just change cryptos, you're supposed to be paying taxes on any gains that come from that. So yeah, that's the issue with the taxes. The other part is when he was talking about front running, I just want to go into minor extracted value. That is insider trading. I look at it as, because those miners have an extra piece, right? They can do a little bit more than the average individual at an exchange or somebody who's using open sea or something like that. They can do a little bit more because they are actually part of the validation process and able to create blocks. And so they can put in whatever transactions they want into there. They can stop certain transactions from coming through and then put a transaction before so that they can beat or front run the transaction that's coming in. And when you don't run your own nodes, you are at the mercy of the people that are creating the blocks and are transmitting transactions. And so that to me is more like insider trading because you do have greater information and greater access than the average individual.
And there goes that data asymmetry. While it does exist, not everyone has 32 ETH to run their own node. So therefore you have somewhat of a moat. I think Redman said it best. Front run Gary Gensler. +1 for Redman there. All right, well, let's talk a little Binance FUD again. I guess 13.0 at this point, but more FUD as CZ is still denying it. Right now, he's denying rumors of selling Bitcoin to prop up the price of BNB. As a Twitter user, Skew is alleging that they're using market manipulation to essentially prop up their flagship token's price there. CZ promptly denied these rumors. Quote, Binance have not sold Bitcoin or BNB. Favorite part here. We even still have a bag of FTT. Well, let's see. Crow, he also commented further. He commented on the tweet thread, hey, maybe they're shorting. Who knows? Laughing face emoji there. Is that a real thing that happens? Do you think there's coordinated efforts to create a FUD storm? And are there whales out there hitting the short button? Or is that just some fantasy people want to just try to create because they're losing their trades?
I think anytime there's an opportunity for somebody to make money, whether it's moral, immoral, honest, or dishonest, somebody's doing it. That's what I think. And, you know, the only real difference is how much capital they have to do it with, or how much power or how much control over whatever it is they have. So, yeah, I don't put anything past any of these exchanges, to be honest. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. I don't put anything past anybody. I mean, you know, for a while, you know, a lot of people were talking about all the different exchanges that are, you know, they have inside trading desks that are actively working on making markets and liquidating their leverage traders. And we know that happens. You know what I mean? Like it's not a secret anymore. It used to be, but so many people have ousted that kind of thing. So I don't put anything past anybody. And while I know that I'm honestly disgusted in a lot of ways with the way the SEC is handling a lot of this stuff. And I do believe that there's a very big political mission behind a lot of it. I think they're ultimately trying to pave the way for, you know, the CBDCs and the Fed now next month and all this other stuff. We can't escape the fact that we do need a policing body. We can't sit around and say, you know, defund the police, right? Because we don't like what they're doing, and then, you know, cry when an exchange rips us off, right? And we're like, who are you going to call? Like, it's just the way it's all going, the way it's all happening right now is really bad. But I mean, I don't necessarily trust Binance personally. I've seen a lot of stuff through the years about things that Binance has done. And so, you know, I'm not a regulator. I'm not an investigator. So I can't say one way or the other. But yeah, absolutely anything is possible.
$2 super chat, Crypto Crow. How do I get more quadra legged mammal toes on Twitter?
We get more camel toes? Is that what he's talking about?
That's what he said.
I don't know. Do a search, brother. Thanks for the
don't search that. Do not search that, viewers. Or do it incognito mode. Don't do it at work. That's for sure. All right. Well, this is coming. All these rumors are coming after.
That's what I want to know.
We just saw some internal memos from Binance where CZ is actually instructing his staff to not disclose where they are located, where they're working from. It's famously a decentralized company with no central office anywhere on the globe. Binance spokesperson, to their credit, said ensuring that our colleagues' personal safety is not compromised is of paramount importance to Binance. He did say, just be careful what you use with private messaging apps after the SEC crackdown there. Well, one critic commented on their office locations here, Tim, and said it was 100% to avoid regulators, talking about their hidden location, but they pretend it's to stop angry customers showing up. Do you agree with that assessment, Tim?
Oh my goodness. First of all, before I answer the question, DZ, I want to shout out and special shout out to Lamar and Crow. Go follow them because what they did was awesome. I told you guys I had to do my research on it. I actually love the fun fact. I love being wrong. So if I was wrong about what that was in my very minimal research about what that front running meant when it comes to bots, thank you so much to those two great guys helping correct that information. That being said, back to the Binance story.
No, you're supposed to dig your heels into the dirt and say, no, I'm right.
Yeah. Well, I know when I've been beat.
All right. Well, we give you a couple points for that.
And I'm gonna admit my faults and my weaknesses. But when it comes to Binance, because now we're gonna go back into what my spiel was there, because I was talking about it before the show today with a couple of guys in the office here. So I'm gonna go into character here for you. This one, DZ. What? Other people competing with Binance think that they're doing something illegal and want them to go down? This is a shocker. The whole thing here, this is what we've become accustomed to. Everyone wants to FUD Binance. And here's the sad thing, DZ, is even if that is the case, let's just pretend for a second that we know for a fact that was CZ's incentive. The amount of FUD that has been thrown at this man, you actually at this point have to start off saying, all right, why do people want him to fall? Before you can actually assess what they're saying. I would love to know who these people are, what exchange they're from. Are these former FTX employees implying this? Because we know they want him to be a crook. I at this point have learned to give CZ and Binance the benefit of the doubt when it comes to these movements. I'm even just looking at it, like reading through the story and reading through the article. I'm kind of sitting here saying that makes a lot of sense. Wouldn't you want your office private, especially things happen in crypto? People lose money, and then they want to blame everybody else why they lose money. Do we really put it past people to go chase down a public headquarters and go in and attack? That's actually something that really could happen.
We have seen it. And I was just going to say, just last year, someone showed up to OKC offices in Japan or Tokyo and threatened to not alive themselves anymore.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things like maybe. I guess we have to say maybe that's why CZ's doing it. Although, and even that one, I'm like, can you blame him from him not wanting the government and regulators to know everything about him because they overstep their bounds left and right? But we can't even say that with certainty. All we know is a competitor has an anonymous source that says, I know 100% that they're trying to avoid regulators. Well, guess what? Get in line behind the rest of the people that want to see CZ and Binance go down. There's a long line. So,
all right. Well, Lamar, we're talking about these people criticizing Binance. We don't really have a face to this person, but Lamar, if you had to guess, just kind of using the other people's words here, does it seem more likely a disgruntled FTX employees just chatting on a Discord server, or would this be a more sophisticated, coordinated FUD campaign, maybe a Lazarus hacking group from North Korea? Where do you see this FUD campaign? What level of sophistication is there?
I think right now, to be honest with you, you could throw anything out there for a lot of these exchanges and it'll stick. To be honest with you, I think you could just make up something and it'll stick because we don't even go through due process anymore in this world. Like as soon as somebody is accused of something, that's the path we go down, and then that's what gets basically investigated. I think the whole thing is that I've never trusted the exchanges from the very, very beginning. One of the very first CEOs I met of an exchange was the Huobi CEO. And at the time, they had like 70,000 Bitcoin volume on the day. And when I told him about my buddy who had 200 Bitcoin volume, he got excited, which was weird to me because why would you get excited if he's doing 200 Bitcoin in Brazil and you're doing 70,000, right? So from that point forward, I've always been like, I don't know about these exchanges. The fact that they can manipulate the price, and not only, here's what people don't understand. It's not only on their exchange can they manipulate prices. We have to remember that most of these bots are running off of the signals coming from the exchanges. And also some of these bots are using CoinMarketCap, which what most people don't understand is owned by Binance. So if Binance is the bringer of truth, they have a lot of power to be able to manipulate things whichever way they want them to go. And we have to remember that every one of these exchanges makes the most money on volatility. You need volatility. You need the price to be all over the place so that people continue to trade and that the bots keep. Think about it. They're literally sucking fees away from bots on a consistent basis. And as long as you can keep the bots triggering, you can figure out algorithms to trigger the bots. And once that happens, now all of a sudden these exchanges do it. So I don't really trust any exchange. I don't trust Coinbase. I don't trust Binance. That's why I always say get your money off the exchange, put it in your own cold storage wallet and hold on to it and do what you want with it, but keep it away from the exchanges. Only use them to get your bread and get out. Outside of that, man, I don't, any of this stuff, any of this FUD, as we have seen, FTX didn't even have any Bitcoin. Imagine that. How many people held Bitcoin on FTX? They had none when the wolves pulled back. Who knows what these exchanges are doing? Don't trust any of them. Get out of there. And it's not really necessarily FUD. It might be fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but the truth is, who knows, man? And I don't give a crap. Like my man said earlier, he's exactly right. Anybody who has a bone to pick with Binance will come out and just throw some FUD out there just to bring the attention to them. And it is what it is. We don't have enough regulation, so we don't know for sure. And until we get enough regulation where we can peek behind the curtain, everybody is the emperor.
All right.
They might not have no clothes.
Well, if it was Team FUD or Team CZ, I'm going with Team CZ. I've seen the FUD hit him year after year after year after year, and he keeps just shaking it off. And as exchange after exchange collapses, and we've seen significant runs on Binance's, war chest, and it seems to weather all the storms so far. That being said, let's get a little breezy here, a little lighthearted left turn. You're going to want to stick around for this because we're about to play the new song from Vitalik. I just want to show this headline real quick. You can mint this as a free NFT. It is going to be on Optimism. This isn't sponsored or anything. It's just once you hear the song, you're going to know why we had to talk about it. We're not going to listen to the whole 2 minutes, maybe just a half minute, a minute here.
'Twas born a brilliant man in Russia long ago. He dropped out of school with a perfect 4.0. He took an interest in a cryptocurrency, so he co-founded a Bitcoin magazine. He got bored of shitposts on inflation. Bitcoin had a one-track mind. He realized entire applications could decentralize. Buterin, very first Ethereum. Satoshi's vision.
We'll stop it right there. All right. Well, that is a free song. I checked probably 2 hours ago. 45,000 different people had claimed this NFT thus far. Another wrinkle to the story. This song and that video co-created by the Optimism co-founder. Yeah, not just a random dev, not a guy in the Discord. No, the actual co-founder of Optimism. Commissioned that with Gigamesh, I think is his name. Looks to be mostly a promotional move for Optimism and Sound.xyz. Who wants to jump in first on this one?
I'll go first.
All right, Tim, first we'll just lead with you. What are your thoughts on Vitalik's song? And also a more serious question, what are your thoughts as this as a advertising or marketing tool for Optimism?
Well, my first thought was, DZ, when listening to this song, not the lead singer, but the backup singer. Every time he comes in, tell me that doesn't sound like BJ is recording this. Was this shot here at Hit Network and BJ involved in the recording? Because
you just blew his head up.
You go back and play that back. If anyone knows what BJ sounds like, I'm not convinced that he wasn't the backup singer in this music video. That's my first point. Second point was, some people said that this was worse than the video. What year was it? 2019. What year did Vitalik get up there and rap, do a live song?
It was maybe 19, within a year of 2019 for sure.
Yeah, it was not worse. This is better than that one for sure. Step in the right direction. But it is, it's cringe. But that's the thing, though, is like it's so bad, it's good. It's so bad that it actually is brilliant. It's going to get lots of views. I'm not a fan of the song necessarily. It's obviously not my taste of music, but I think that whoever decided to do it had made a brilliant marketing move. You said, because I didn't even know that much about it, you said Optimism was the one behind it. If Optimism is the one that came up with that, if they're behind that video, good move for Optimism. Sometimes the best way to get views on the internet is to do something ridiculously embarrassing. So shout out to BJ. You wanted to get some views, some sounds. That's my thought on the song. I don't know how much deeper we can even go with it because it's that ridiculous, but that's my thoughts.
All right. Well, not a fan of the genre. Shots fired at late 20th century Soviet era pop, I guess. I don't know how you'd classify that. Well, Lamar also, thoughts on the song, but real question here. Are free NFTs going to be a viable online advertising strategy in the future?
I mean, you know what I think is more of a more viable online strategy is acting like 45,000 people downloaded it.
You think there's some botting or some wallet action happening here?
Come on, man. You know how easy it is to create a wallet? Like, come on, nobody's downloading that song. Come on. It's free in the first place. Why are you going through it? You're not going to go through the extra step to go try to get the freaking song. So all of that 45,000, that's just easy. It's easy to make a wallet. It's easy, especially if you're the creator of Optimism. Like, come on, man. That's a very easy thing to do. It's the same thing we always see. We always see false signals. Like, people create these false signals all the time. They make it seem like there's so much trading going on. Then you look at DAP Radar and nobody's actually hitting the contract. So at the end of the day, I think it's a cool idea to try to make some marketing around it. But think about it. I hadn't even heard it until you showed it to me. So they must not be doing that great of a job, man. Think about it.
Yeah, I had a coworker show me or play me that song. I was like, all right, we have to kind of talk about that. Well, Crypto Crow, I want to ask you about mainstream adoption when they hear something like this. Is this going to ultimately push them away? Is it too bro tech internet culture? Is it too Pepe adjacent for mainstream?
Well, that song was made after an actual song called Rasputin about Rasputin, Russia, banging all the queen and the women and everything, and then getting killed for it. So there might be a melodic licensing issue there in the future. But listen, man, it's all fun. Like, who cares? I mean, I don't know. I'm literally at a loss for words at this point because, like, this song is cute. It's cringy. It's really ridiculous. It's something that like Tosh.0 would probably put on and like make fun of for 5 minutes and, give it like all the 20 jokes we can make about this video. Like that's about as good as it is. Lamar said, 45,000. There probably actually were 45,000 people that downloaded that. Because for some odd reason they're ETH holders and they feel like they're downloading a piece of history or something.
Okay. All right. Well, follow up. Will this be worthless in 10 years?
Yes.
Lamar, yes. Will this be worthless? Okay. Well, Lamar says yes. Final. Tim, will this be worthless in 10 years?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, chat, let us know the fiat value 10 years from now. So far, about 45,000 floating. I got to say it's worth at least a penny. All right. I will say it will be less than gas fees. So I guess ultimately that means worthless. All right. Well, Ethereum, how dare you? All right. Well, that is all. Hey, it's on Optimism, so only be like $3 gas fee. All right. Well, that is all we have time for. And Lamar ended up taking home. We had a really great episode, really fun topic. So please hit that like button and make sure you follow everybody in the description. But Lamar, you took it home, so feel free. Leave us 10, 20, 30 seconds of some parting thoughts.
Listen, y'all know what I'm coming with every single time. Bitcoin. Right now, all this stuff is going on in the market. We see what's going on in the macro economy. But all you have to do is Bitcoin and chill, man. Like, I'm not telling you to buy it for your future. I'm not telling you to buy it for any point in your time. But for me and my house, we just gonna chill and get some Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin. That's all.
All right. Couple great comments. First, Chris. Wait a minute. No. Crypto Cookie. I'm already shorting the song now. All right. That was pretty good. And Rudy Poo, all 45,000 are a certain light beer drinker fan. All right. That is all we have time for. Again, go in the description. Make sure you're following all 3 channels you see here. Really, really great stuff. Until next time, DZ out. We had a great time. Hit that like.